In today's video, we're going to be teaching our dogs the come when called command. This isn't that difficult of a command to teach, however, it is one of the most important commands you want to teach your dog. Before jumping into the actual training process, I want to cover a couple common mistakes that people make that can slow down the training process. Remember that concept of predictability and pattern recognition. This is very important to always keep in mind when you're training your dogs because they're very good at recognizing patterns and they're also very situational. Let's say, for example, you're running late for work, you call your dog to you, they're in the backyard, you're trying to get them inside, and your dog chooses not to come to you. So you find yourself chasing your dog, you finally catch them, you correct them, and you put them in the crate. In that situation, you taught your dog not to come to you. Because when they finally did get to you, whether you chased them or they came to you, it predicted a correction. Again, they are very situational. So in that situation, they go, oh, if I come to you, I'm gonna get a correction, so I need to avoid that. And they will do their best to stay away from you. So remember, anytime your dog comes to you, it needs to be a good experience. But here's another situation where you don't correct your dog for coming to you, however, it could create avoidance. Let's say you take your dog to the dog park for the first time and they're having a blast. They're running around, they're playing with other dogs. You call your dog to you, your dog runs over, you hook the leash on them, and you leave. Well, you just showed your dog in that situation, if they're running around playing, having a good time, and you call them to you, you're going to end the fun and you're going to leave. So rather than calling them only when you're ready to leave the dog park, call them randomly while you're there and reward them every single time that they come to you. Make it a game. So then when you do call them, they run over and you can hook the leash on them and leave, and it's not going to create that recognizable pattern for when they're at the dog park that you're only going to call them when it's time to go. All right, so now we're going to jump into the actual training. There's a step-by-step process that I like to follow when I'm teaching a dog the come when called. First, we're going to start with the backwards follow exercise. It's a very simple exercise, but it's going to help solidify the come when called as well as what's known as the sit front position. You can teach your dogs a formal as well as an informal version of come when called. I like to teach my dogs both because there's going to be situations where you want to be more informal and other situations where you're going to be more formal. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into the training. Okay, the backwards follow exercise. What we're first going to want to do, come on, buddy. And he's already starting to get a little tired. I've been working him today. Come on, big guy. Good boy. There's my informal come when called. We talked about formal versus informal. I'm going to place him into a sit directly in front of me. So this is going to be, yes, that sit front position that we're going to work on. When we reward, we want to reward. So I'm going to fix him if he's bouncing around. No big deal. Yes. I want him to get used to that picture looking up at me. Yes. And then bring it down. So the backwards follow exercise, if you're doing the advanced obedience, make sure you really get the dog to understand to look up at your face. But for the basic obedience, as long as he's looking up in my direction, I'm pretty happy with that. So then I'm going to walk backwards. When I walk backwards, I'm just going to reward him up against my body. So I'm just going to walk backwards. He's going to follow me. And as he takes his steps, I'm going to reward him along the way. Good boy. Come on, buddy. Nice job. We can pivot around and go back and forth. And then as we stop, we lift up. Yes. So they sit, and then we go back into the backwards follow exercise. Make sure you don't trip over your climb bed. Good. So we continue to walk backwards, rewarding our dog. And then again, when we stop, we try to keep them nice, straight, and centered. Slowly lift up, and then reward. This is going to be the start of our come when called. Now, when we first want to start naming it, we put our dog in the sit position and we say, come, and then we go right back into the backwards follow exercise. And always stopping the backwards follow exercise by bringing our dog back into a sit. So then we can take a little step back, hands down, come, cue the dog. Good, nice job. Get them used to walking with the leash attached too. Unless you're training inside, but a lot of times I like to have the leash just in case I need it. Again, we stop, we lift up, yes, reward, build a little bit more distance, come, then the cue. Good, very nice. Excellent, my little man. Come on, buddy. Don't get distracted. None of that ADD kicking in. And then again, we stop, lift up, yes, reward, build a little more distance, come,
then the cue. Good. So you see, everything has the exact same process, right? We teach the physical, then we name it. Build a little more distance. Come, then the cue. Good boy. And if you're doing competitive obedience, this is going to be the same. So if you're working with a young German Shepherd or Dutch Shepherd or Malinois or something like that, we can place them into the position, call them to us, come. Sometimes I might move a little faster if I want to increase the dog's speed. Free. Good. Nice job, buddy. Nice job. Place them back into the sit. Build a little bit of distance. And notice I'm not using the actual sit command. We're just using physical cues at this part, but then the command for the come. So if he breaks it, it's not a big deal. Come, then the cue. Good boy. And you're going to quickly see that you will say come, and your dog's going to start running directly to you to get into that sit front position in order to get that reward. And we just keep doing it, and we start to make our physical cue less and less as we call the dog. When they start to understand it, then I may use the physical cue if I think the dog needs it. So if I'm walking backwards, or rather if I'm standing there and I say come, and my dog starts to come to me and I notice my dog looks like she or he is going to go to the right side or the left side, I might adjust and help them, right? Or I might call them and just do a little bit of a cue. But we want to get to the point where we can call our dog, just stand there, and they'll come directly into the sit front position. If you do this correctly, you'll be able to get to that point in your training. Now, let me show you how to do this with the leash pressure. So very similar. We're going to take our dog, swing our dog around, place our dog into the sit, get at the end of our leash, come, and then we're going to guide our dog with the leash. Good boy. Got him where we want him. Yes. And then reward. And you get to determine the level of precision with your obedience if you're just doing basic pet training. So again, come. I can guide him with the leash, and I can reward him. Come on, buddy. Chew your food, little man. I can just reward him when he comes to me. Whatever you want the end picture to look like. Some people are okay with the dog just running into their area. So you match whatever it is that you want from your dog. Okay? So again, we place him into the sit, and I'm just using the leash, very similar to how we did it using the reward-based training. Keep my hands down, come, then I guide my dog. Good boy, very nice. And then place the dog into a sit, yes, and then reward. Sit as I step away, come, then the cue, good. And then let's bring it back up, yes, and then reward. That's going to be how we're going to teach the come when called, climb, using reward-based training or pressure-based training. Both of them work. Use the one that works best for you and your dog. Yes. 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 And then stop, lift, yes, reward. And then once we know that we have the dog doing that behavior, and again, I like to get it to where I can walk backwards and my dog is just walking directly in front of me. Yes. Sit, repeat the sit command, take a step away, build a little bit of distance, come, and then use the cue, yes, reward. Come, and then right back, so she's going to my hand, so I'm not going to reward her there. Bring my hands behind my back if I need to. Yes. Sit. Come. Yes. Good girl. Sit. Build a little more distance. Come. Come. Yes, reward. And each time, we're trying to place our dog in the best position possible. And every time I'm doing this, I'm looking more towards competitive obedience. If you're not competing with your dog, you don't need them to be in perfect position that I'm demonstrating here. If you're happy with your dog simply coming to you to get a reward, then just do that. Come. Yay, nice job! And you can give them the reward. You can make it as formal or as informal as you would like it to be. Free. Good girl. And that's going to be how we're going to teach the come. Against my body, as I guide it downwards. So it's staying up against my body, and that's going to keep my dog nice and close to me, and I keep it center. So I can switch hands too. And I start with walking backwards. Again, this is the backwards follow exercise, but this is going to lead into the come when called. So now that I have my dog understanding this exercise, I'm going to name the command, and I'm just going to do it from right here. Come, then I give the cue, and I walk backwards. Come, then the cue. Come, then the cue. And once my dog gets better at that, what I want to do is I want to start building distance. I like to use the climb. Again, it's one of the easier commands to reinforce a stay. So just to make it easier on the dog and easier on the training process, the more successful your dog is, the faster they're going to learn. So now I just create a little bit of distance, and I do the exact same thing. Hands down at my side to kind of give them that normal picture. Come, then the cue. Yes, reward. Climb. I'm going to guide them back on the climb. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more distance. Same thing, hands down at the side. Come, then the cue. Yes, reward. Climb. I'm going to guide him back onto the climb. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Now this time I'm going to see how he's going to do if I don't bring in my hands to help him out. I'm going to stand right here. Come. He needs a little bit of help. Yes, reward. So we can help them when we think that they need help, or you can see that they need help, but you can see all we're doing, climb, is we're building distance by showing the dog the picture they already understand. Come. Yes, and then reward. And that's a really easy way to teach the come when called, and you're just going to want to keep building on the distance, building on repetition, and making it to where you can go from having to help them as you're walking backwards, reward them the whole way, to where you're just standing there. And if you see, again, you need help, it's okay to help your dog out, but get back into this position, yes, and then reward. So they know what the final picture looks like, and that's going to be the position that your dog will seek out. Again, backwards follow. Yes. And then when you go back into it, come, then the cue. You got a little confused there, it's okay. Come, then the cue. Yes, then the reward. Come, then the cue. Yes, then the reward. Come, and then just like the other dogs, we'll build a little bit of distance. Sit. Now. Come, then the cue. It's not always going to be perfect. Make sure you adjust if your dog makes mistakes. It's no big deal. Come. Good. Free.
There's also a couple fun exercises that you can do to speed up your dog's training. One is you call your dog to you. When they make the decision to come to you, you use your terminal marker, releasing them from the exercise, and you take their favorite toy and you throw it behind you. Some people will throw it between their legs, encouraging their dog to run between their legs to maintain that center position when you don't throw a toy. But nonetheless, what it's doing is it's showing the dog that when they make the right decision, you may release them and you may throw a toy behind you, and they're gonna run past you to get that toy. So then when you do call them to you, they're running in excitement for the possibility of being released and chasing their favorite toy. Another great way to speed up your dog's recall command is to have a training partner. Have the training partner hold the dog either by their chest, or they could put a harness on them, and we want to build frustration. So you're going to run away from your dog, calling them, you're going to get really excited, and then your training partner will release your dog, and your dog should run at you very quickly because of that frustration. It's a lot of fun, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
All right, now in this exercise, this is how we're going to increase the speed of our dog's recall. We're we're gonna be using frustration in order to do this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna play with Derby for a second, I'm gonna run away, I'm gonna be really excited, high energy, encouraging Derby to come to me. Erica is gonna hold Derby in place until there's enough frustration, and then she's gonna let him go, and he's gonna come cruising over to me, and I'm gonna praise and reward him when he gets to me. This is a great way to increase your dog's recall as far as the speed and the motivation that they're gonna have while doing this exercise. So I'm gonna come over. Derby. You're gonna hold him around his chest. Not the, there you go. Good boy. That's my good boy. Come on, Derby. Come on, buddy. Derby, come on. Come on, Derby. Come on. Go, let go. Come on. Yeah, good boy. Nice job. And then praise and reward when he gets to you. Good boy. We're gonna do the same thing with Charlie here. Good boy. All right, Charlie. All right, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on. Ah, good boy. And then praise and reward when he gets to you. All right, we're gonna do it again one more time with Charlie. And the farther away you get from your dog, the faster they usually go. This is a pretty short distance, and we're still getting a good amount of speed. All right, Charlie, come on, buddy. Come on, Charlie. Come on, buddy. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Good boy. Good, and then lots of praise, lots of reward when your puppy comes to you. This is a phenomenal exercise to do with your dogs. I highly recommend it.